This muscle-bound man, who looks like The Rock's long-lost twin, operates an exotic riverboat tour with a sneaky twist. He pays jungle locals to stage fake attacks, so he can extract extra cash from the tourists. Also, he possesses a pet jaguar because regular cats aren't good enough. But here's the catch. He's over 400 years old, cursed by a betrayed tribal chief, and now he's racing to find a priceless artifact that could finally break the curse. It's not simply about becoming mortal again. It's his opportunity to prove to the beautiful girl that he is more than just muscles.
No, Frank, please!
You have to trust me.
From the Amazon's heart, a legend whispers about the tears of the moon, a mystical tree with petals that possess the ability to heal any wound and shatter even the darkest of curses. For centuries, adventurers have pursued this dream, however, none as ruthlessly as the conquistador Aguirre, driven by greed, who betrayed the tree's guardians, unleashing a curse that bound him and his men to the Amazon River, trapping them eternally. Fast forward to the present, the legend continues, and siblings Lily and McGregor have devised a plan. A clumsy gentleman pitches the society's elite on an expedition to discover the tree, equipped with a map and resolute determination. Nevertheless, behind the scenes, Lily is the one pulling the strings. When the society denies them access to the arrowhead, and the response remains a definite no, being key to the tree's location, Lily takes action, dressing as a man for camouflage. Lily infiltrates the society's halls, skillfully evading the sinister Prince Joachim. Using precision and nerve, she snatches the arrowhead, igniting a high-stakes chase. Outmaneuvering Joachim's men, using her quick thinking, Lily escapes with the prize. Barely.
Oh my gosh!
In the meantime, Joachim vows revenge, leaving destruction in his wake. Now armed with the arrowhead, Lily and McGregor prepare to commence a daring expedition into the jungle. Their aim isn't simply to claim treasure, it's to unveil the tree's power to alter humanity's future. But the jungle's nature is merciless, and danger lurks around every corner. Simultaneously, the story introduces Frank, a charismatic grifter and river skipper, who operates a rickety yet serviceable boat along the Amazon. Frank thrives on entertaining naive English tourists by putting on staged jungle adventures designed to seem dangerous, but are completely orchestrated. Hassling about everything that you see wants to kill you. From fake attacks conducted by crocodiles to exaggerated warnings concerning harmless wildlife, Frank's schemes are as creative as they are profitable. He even partners with a local tribe, who willingly take part in his antics to keep the charade alive. As Lily and McGregor arrive in the bustling river town, they commence their search for a trustworthy skipper. Lily, ever methodical, heads directly to Nilo's office, having heard that he controls most of the boats in the area. Coincidentally, at the same moment, Nilo confronts Frank about a considerable unpaid debt.
My money, Frank. Where is it?
Oh, you mean this money?
Nilo confiscates the engine from Frank's boat, thus leaving the grifter scrambling for a solution. When Lily arrives at Nilo's office, she unwittingly encounters Frank, who is broken in, determined to reclaim the key to his confiscated engine. Ever the opportunist, Frank pretends to be Nilo and listens as Lily passionately explains her need for a skilled skipper to lead an expedition deep into the Amazon. She offers a generous payment.
I have a lot of money.
Describing her plan to find the mystical tears of the moon, Frank, intrigued by her determination and the promise of a hefty payday, employs his charm to gain her trust. He convinces Lily to unlock the box containing the engine key, feigning interest in her mission, while secretly celebrating his success. With the key in hand, Frank enthusiastically accepts the job. Their negotiations continue at a nearby restaurant.
10,000, I take you there myself. I am my best captain.
Fine, 10,000.
Where Frank strives to solidify his position as leader of the expedition. Just as it seems Frank has charmed his way into this deal, McGregor appears, this time accompanied by the real Nilo in tow.
Mr. Nilo. Buongiorno, signorina.
The ruse is exposed, and Lily becomes infuriated at Frank's deception. She's on the verge of leaving when chaos erupts. The Jaguar bursts into the restaurant, causing patrons to go into a frenzy, while Nilo cowers in fear. Frank leaps into action. With his quick thinking, he grabs a stake, using it to outsmart the Jaguar, drawing it away from the crowd. His bravery and ingenuity leave a lasting impression on Lily. Despite her anger about his earlier lies, she decides to hire Frank on the spot, recognizing his resourcefulness and ability to handle danger. The next morning, Frank picks up Lily and McGregor at the dock. His battered boat is prepared for the journey ahead. However, their departure is far from smooth. Joachim's men, who are still hunting for the arrowhead, ambush Lily and kidnap her. While Frank and McGregor hastily escape on the boat, Lily proves she's no damsel in distress. Utilizing her wit and physical skill, she outsmarts her captors in a daring escape, reuniting with Frank and McGregor after a thrilling chase through the bustling port. Their problems do not end there. Joachim, now in command of a submarine, dramatically emerges from the river, revealing his ambition to employ the tears of the moon to aid Germany's efforts in World War I. He opens fire on Frank's boat, forcing the crew into evasive maneuvers. When his gunfire fails, Johann launches a torpedo, but Frank's quick thinking saves the day. He expertly navigates the boat by tangling the torpedo in a rope and subsequently sending it back toward the submarine. The subsequent explosion crashes the submarine into the dock, obliterating Nilo's fleet of boats, Frank, and leaving Johann seething with frustration as they continue further into the Amazon. The journey becomes grueling. McGregor, unaccustomed to the harsh conditions, struggles under the scorching sun. His posh demeanor is fading with every mile. In stark contrast, Lily embraces the adventure, marveling at the vibrant wildlife and lush surroundings. She enthusiastically documents everything with her handheld camera, her passion for discovery shining through. Her curiosity extends to Frank, who reluctantly allows her to film him as well. Amused by her excitement, Frank even tries the camera himself, revealing a softer side and hinting at a budding attraction between the two. That evening, as the boat is anchored to rest the engine, the group takes a moment to relax. The moonlight reflects off the river as they discuss their motivations and dreams. Growing increasingly at ease with each other, the tranquil moment hints at a growing bond. Although they maintain their guarded exteriors, the serenity shatters when Proxima, a jaguar, climbs onto the deck, startling McGregor. To everyone's astonishment, Frank commands the animal to heel, revealing that Proxima is actually his pet. Lily's disbelief turns to fury, and she accuses Frank of betraying her trust. Feeling humiliated and manipulated, and so she retreats. The fragile connection between them seems broken. Simultaneously, Joachim sets his sights on a new ally. Journeying into the depths of the jungle, he discovers the cursed conquistador Aguirre, whose body lies dormant near the riverbank. Pouring enchanted river water over Aguirre's remains, Joachim revives the ancient warrior. As Aguirre awakens, snakes slither from his form, which is a haunting reminder of his cursed existence. Joachim strikes a dangerous deal. In exchange for Aguirre's assistance in locating the tears of the moon, Joachim will grant him freedom from the curse. Tempted by the opportunity to finally achieve his long-denied goal, Aguirre agrees. Joachim, true to his word, releases Aguirre and his men, allowing them to pursue their mission with terrifying resolve. The next day, Frank's boat approaches a stretch of perilous rapids. The roaring waters are a stark reminder of the dangers they face. Despite her visible fear, Lily insists they press on, convinced the faster route is worth the risk. Frank reluctantly agrees, relying on his extensive experience to navigate the treacherous waters. The boat bobs and weaves through the swirling currents, the crew gripping tightly as each wave threatens to capsize them. At one point, they reach a near-deadly drop, the boat plunging sharply before crashing into calmer waters below. Everyone is left shaken and queasy. Even Proxima, Frank's loyal companion, succumbs to the chaos, leaning over the side of the boat alongside the humans to vomit. As the group pauses to gather wood for the engine, McGregor finds an opportunity to converse with Frank, opening up regarding his reasons for joining Lily on this dangerous expedition. McGregor shares a deeply personal story. He reveals that after coming out as gay, his family turned their backs on him, with the exception of Lily. She stood by him, unwavering, defending him when no one else would. Now, motivated by gratitude and loyalty, McGregor follows her wherever she goes, even into the heart of the Amazon's dangers. In the meantime, Lily's curiosity leads her to Frank's quarters. Rummaging through his belongings, she uncovers maps and documents detailing the legend of the tears of the moon. Confronting Frank, she accuses him of harboring a secret agenda, suspecting he wants the tree's magic for himself. Frank doesn't deny that, as it once was true. He admits his original journey to the Amazon was motivated by greed and ambition. However, he insists he abandoned that pursuit a long time ago, claiming he now only seeks to help Lily and McGregor succeed. Their tense exchange is interrupted when Frank's tribe stages a fake ambush on Lily and McGregor as part of one of Frank's cons. Armed with painted spears and intimidating war cries, the tribe surrounds the group, with Frank acting as their translator to maintain the illusion. However, Lily's sharp tongue and defiance inadvertently push the performance too far, forcing the tribe to break character and end the charade. Despite the awkwardness, Lily perceives an opportunity and asks the tribe's chief to translate the inscriptions on the arrowhead. The chief reveals the cryptic constructions. The seeker of the tears of the moon must turn water into stone and mend a broken heart. She explains that the tree blooms only under the rare crying moon, which will occur in 2 days. The chief also mentions following the symbol of the serpent biting its own tail, a detail Lily remembers from her map. Excited by this newly discovered knowledge, Lily begins piecing together the forthcoming steps in their expedition. Believing she no longer requires Frank's assistance, Lily decides decides to part ways. She compensates him with the remainder of his fee and makes plans to leave with McGregor. Frank, although visibly conflicted, lets her go without protest. That night, the village is thrown into chaos when Aguirre and his cursed conquistadors launch a surprise attack. The air fills with shouts and the clash of weapons as the cursed men, driven by their unrelenting need to locate the arrowhead, storm the village. Each member of the group finds themselves locked in a fight for survival. Men from Aguirre's team corner Lily, and a fierce struggle ensues. Despite her valiant fighting, the conquistadors overpower her, seizing the arrowhead. Before they can escape, Frank intervenes, taking on several of Aguirre's men in a desperate attempt to safeguard Lily and McGregor. With pure determination, he succeeds in retrieving the arrowhead, then tossing it back to Lily. In the commotion, Aguirre stabs Frank, sending him plummeting from the treetops. Lily and McGregor, horrified, are forced to flee as the village chief urges them to escape beyond the river, where the cursed men cannot follow. As they are running, Aguirre's curse extension lashes out and ensnares Lily. Just when it seems she'll be captured, the jungle itself intervenes. Vines and roots spring to life, dragging Aguirre and his men back to the river's edge, where they are bound once more by the curse. Recognizing the limitations of his predicament, Aguirre dispatches bees as messengers to inform Joachim of the arrowhead's location. At dawn, Lily's despair transitions into joy when she finds Frank alive. However, her relief is cut short when McGregor notices a dagger which is still lodged in Frank's back. Shocked and confused, they demand an explanation. With reluctance, Frank reveals the truth. He is one of the cursed conquistadors. Before he can elaborate, Lily impulsively extracts the dagger from his chest. To her astonishment, Frank sustains no harm. McGregor, overwhelmed by the revelation, passes out on the spot. Realizing the journey ahead will be far too perilous for her brother, Lily decides to continue with Frank alone. She bids an emotional farewell to McGregor, who remains behind with the villagers for his safety. Meanwhile, the bees sent by Aguirre reach Joachim's submarine. The villain's crew watches in awe as the insects swarm, conveying their cryptic message. Joachim, always resourceful, deciphers the information and learns the location of the arrowhead. With renewed determination, he rallies his men, preparing for the final leg of his pursuit. As Frank and Lily continue their journey upriver, Frank begins to reveal details regarding his long and tragic past. He explains that over 400 years ago, he and Aguirre were close friends, united in their quest to find the tears of the moon. Aguirre's motivations were deeply personal. He sought the tree's petals to save his dying daughter. Frank, drawn by loyalty and hope, joined him on the perilous expedition. However, the subsequent greed and betrayal resulted in their eternal curse, which doomed them to an indefinite existence in the Amazon. Frank's voice conveys a hint of sorrow as he shares the weight of 4 centuries of regret, revealing a man haunted by his choices, yet resolved to make amends. As Frank and Lily sail deeper into the heart of the Amazon, Frank opens up about his haunting past. He reveals he was previously Aguirre's cartographer, responsible for mapping their treacherous journey to locate the tears of the moon. Frank admits that the map Lily now holds was created by his own hand, a relic of his initial ambitions. At the start, Frank believed in Aguirre's mission to save his dying daughter. However, his faith was shattered when Aguirre betrayed the very tribe that had saved their lives. When Aguirre attempted to kill the chieftain's daughter to obtain the arrowhead, Frank intervened, aiding her escape with the artifact. Enraged by Frank's betrayal, Aguirre turned on him, but before he could take action, the chieftain, with his dying breath, cursed them all to an everlasting existence bound to the Amazon. The centuries that followed were brutal. Aguirre and Frank engaged in repeated clashes, with their animosity escalating with each encounter. Ultimately, Frank devised a scheme to ensnare Aguirre and his men within a concealed cave, a place where the jungle couldn't drag them back towards the river. For 300 years, the jungle punished Aguirre and his followers, ravaging their bodies and transforming them into grotesque, monstrous forms. Frank, burdened by guilt, carried the weight of his actions, but knew he had no alternative. Lily listens intently, her curiosity interwoven with sympathy. She asks how Frank has spent the century since. He explains that he built the small Amazonian town where she discovered him, creating a semblance of normalcy as he searched for the tears of the moon. Over time, Frank acquired and lost countless friends, their mortal lives fleeting compared to his curse. He also built his beloved boat and explored the river endlessly, but finally abandoned hope of discovering the tree. Instead, he turned his attention to running tourist cruises, harmonizing his survival with his aptitude for storytelling. Along the way, he adopted stray big cats, naming them with affection, with Proxima, meaning next, being his most devoted companion. Meanwhile, Joachim, relentless in his pursuit, finds McGregor using his submarine, capturing him with ease. Joachim employs blackmail to compel McGregor to reveal the location of the tears of the moon. McGregor, terrified and defiant, hesitates until Joachim threatens his sister's life. Faced with no option, McGregor yields, providing Joachim with the information he seeks. To ensure the conquistadors remain unaware, Joachim callously destroys the bees that served as Gear's messengers, severing their connection to the cursed men. As Frank and Lily approach the same destination, Frank contemplates the meaning of his journey. When Lily inquires what he would do if he obtained a petal from the mystical tree, Frank surprises her with his response. After centuries of wandering, he desires not power or immortality, but rest and an end to his unending existence. The weight of his words hangs as the pair continues onward. The next day, their voyage takes them to a peculiar point on the river where the water appears to turn to stone, just as the arrowhead's inscription predicted. Eager to investigate, Frank plunges into the river and uncovers an ancient submerged chamber. However, the entrance is too narrow for him to proceed further, which forces Lily to confront her fear of water. With gentle encouragement, Frank persuades her to dive in alongside him. Inside the chamber, the tension mounts as Lily struggles to activate a lever that could disclose their next clue. Panicking as her breath runs out, she begins to falter. In a daring move, Frank shares his air with her through a kiss, calming her enough to complete the task. The lever is activated, initiating the draining of water from the chamber. Frank, while fending off piranhas in the process, monitors Lily as she awaits the complete recession of the water. When Frank finds her seemingly unconscious, panic sets in until Lily suddenly awakens and slaps him for abandoning her underwater. Despite the slap, their shared ordeal strengthens their bond, a mixture of tension and mutual respect now simmering beneath the surface. As they regroup and dress, they realize they've discovered the location of the tears of the moon. However, their triumph is short-lived. As the remaining water drains away, Joachim emerges with McGregor and Toe, who are his prisoner and a bargaining chip. Even worse, one of Higuera's bees has managed to follow Lily and Frank, carrying the tree's location back to the cursed conquistadors. Joachim immediately begins to assert control. Taking the arrowhead from Lily, he forces Frank to guide him and his men to the tree using Frank's steamboat. The group arrives at the mystical site, where the ancient tree appears lifeless, its bare branches reaching towards the sky. Joachim, frustrated, orders his men to investigate, but Lily notices something unusual about the arrowhead's design. She understands it's more than a mere key. It is heart-shaped. With Frank's assistance, they break open the arrowhead, unveiling a glowing magical piece within. Inserting it into the tree's core, they activate the mechanism as the crying moon shines down. The transformation is breathtaking. The tree blooms spectacularly, with its vibrant petals radiating otherworldly energy. Nevertheless, their awe is short-lived. Joachim sees the opportunity to dispatch his men, commanding them to harvest the petals at all costs. The tenuous alliance among the adventurers and the villains disintegrates as greed and ambition take control, preparing the stage for a final showdown. The climax bursts into chaos as Frank and McGregor launch into action, defending against Joachim's men in a desperate attempt to protect the tears of the moon. With Proxima by their side, the group battles fiercely amid the glowing magical blooms of the tree. Simultaneously, Lily sets her focus on her mission, racing against time to pluck one of the precious petals prior to the moon setting. With the tree's petals glowing brightly, and with a mystical window of opportunity closing, she succeeds in grabbing a petal just in time. Her triumph is brief. Joachim, always the cunning villain, capitalizes on the situation to blackmail Lily. Holding McGregor at gunpoint, he demands that she hand over the petal in exchange for her and McGregor's lives. Before she can make her decision, the tree starts to collapse, its ancient roots detaching from the earth. During the chaos, Lily drops the petal while safeguarding herself from falling debris. Frank, forever resourceful, retrieves the fallen petal. Recognizing the stakes, he makes a bold decision to lure Agre and his cursed conquistadors away from the group.
Tell Lily she would have been world enough for me.
As the jungle collapses around them, Frank leads Agar and his men aboard his boat, then steers it towards an ancient monument. In a final act of self-sacrifice, he crashes the boat into the structure, thereby obstructing the river's flow into the cave. Deprived of their proximity to the river, Agre and his men are claimed by the jungle's curse. Their bodies turn to stone, becoming frozen in time, as a grim reminder of their greed. However, Frank's sacrifice comes at a heavy cost. Without the river's protection, he also succumbs to the curse. His body stiffens, and he becomes stone alongside the conquistadors. Lily and McGregor, observing from the distance, are left heartbroken as they realize the extent of Frank's sacrifice. Determined not to let Frank's story end in tragedy, Lily makes a selfless choice. Despite her lifelong dream of utilizing the tree's magic to aid humanity, she determines to use the petal to break Frank's curse. She places it in his lifeless hand, hoping against hope that its magic can resurrect him. Initially, nothing happens. Defeated, Lily and McGregor prepare to depart, their grief weighing heavily upon them. As they commence their retreat, a familiar sound pierces the silence, a joyous roar from Proxima. Turning back, Lily perceives Frank alive once more. Standing amid the ruins of the tree, overwhelmed with emotion, Lily runs to him and they share a heartfelt embrace. The relief and gratitude reflected in their eyes, their bond, now stronger than before, As if in gratitude for their action, the tree produces one last miraculous gift, another glowing petal. This time, Lily cautiously plucks it, thus preserving a piece of the tree's magic as a keepsake from their incredible journey. With the petal in hand, the group commences their return to the town. Their diminutive raft is exchanged for a more sturdy vessel from Nilo, who appears more amused than annoyed by their persistence. In the final scene, Lily and Frank are seen back in London, sharing a tranquil moment of happiness. Driving through the bustling streets in a sleek car, they exude a newfound feeling of freedom and adventure. In the back seat, Proxima rests comfortably. Her presence serves as a reminder of the wild and unforgettable journey that brought them to this point. The camera pans out as the trio drives into the sunset, prepared for whatever adventure awaits them next.